ministers. Dr. S. Jaishankar, the Minister for External Affairs, has also taken a dig at George Soros, where he has gone on to say that Mr. Soros is an old, rich, opinionated person sitting in New York who still thinks that his views should determine how the entire world works. And such people actually invest in resources in shaping their narratives. And we have heard it yesterday from the Union Minister, Smriti Irani, and now the External Affairs Minister, now hitting back at the statements that has been made by Soros. So as we play out his reaction as well in just a bit, but this is how the government has been also reacting to the statement of George Soros that was made in a way to talk about how the narratives were being built anti-India and against Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Mr. Soros is a old, rich, opinionated person sitting in New York who still thinks that his views should determine how the entire world works. He is old, rich, opinionated and dangerous. Now, in this particular case, I mean, it is very clear that he has very strong political preferences. People like him think an election is good if the person we want to see wins. If the election throws up a different outcome, then we actually will say it's a flawed democracy. This to my and the beauty is all this is done under the pretense of advocacy of open society, of transparency, etc.
Well, that is the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, reacting strongly to the recent comments made by billionaire investor George Soros, who had weighed in on the ongoing Adani-Hindenburg row, stating that the Prime Minister is silent on the issue and will have to answer questions from the foreign investors and in Parliament as well. Rishabh is with us right now. Rishabh, how do we understand this? Because we have a strong counter-reaction to the statement that has been made by George Soros by Union Minister Smriti Irani yesterday that we heard her, and today it is the External Affairs Minister.
See, definitely this is by far one of the strongest attack by the union ministers on a foreign entity making statements on India. Remember, yesterday Smriti Irani categorically said that this is an attack on the democratically elected government of the country. And today, when Jaishankar was put forward with this question, he was very clear that someone who is an old, opinionated, rich man believe that sitting in New York he can make sweeping statements against any government, and where they do not like the government, they will say that these are manufactured manufactured democracies or flawed democracies. This is in line with what Jaishankar has maintained over the years. If you remember, when Jaishankar was in Europe, he was put forward questions where someone asked him that why is India trading with Russia while the Europe is not. Jaishankar back then also categorically said that the West need to understand that their problem is not a global problem, and exactly that's what now S. Jaishankar, the Foreign Affairs Minister, have said that
someone interrupting you, apologies. Mr. Memon is with us here on the broadcast, sir. Good morning. Now we are looking at not just in the government but also in the opposition as well, who are maintaining distance with the comments made by George Soros, saying that they are not ready to agree with the kind of statements that Mr. Soros has made against a democratically elected government in India, sir.
Well, this is Mr. Soros' opinion, and unfortunately, we are overplaying his statement. Anybody has a right to make any kind of opinion and express one's feeling. Why do we give so much importance to that? However, what he has said is this, that he personally believes that presently the government in India is not akin or favorable to democratic setup. And probably his government would go and democracy would be revived. That is his opinion. We may accept it, we may reject it. At the same time, as an opposition leader, I would also suggest and say that Mr. Soros does not have a single vote of himself. He can't cast one vote. Of 140 crore people are going to decide and determine the course of democracy in 2024. So he can only be a well-wisher this way or that way. Beyond that, he has no means to make any alteration in the fate of Indian democracy. He is just expressing himself. Why do we overplay his statement? Even BJP is hysterical. And we have seen Smriti Irani talking ill about him, etc. Ignore it. But, well, he has said something, we don't accept that. You may say it. And it is the people of this country who will decide.
Well, Mr. Memon, what the Union Minister yesterday had said while, taking cognizance of the remarks made by Mr. Soros, saying that a war is being mounted against India and what stands between the war and India's interest is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has been elected democratically.
No, but I don't think I agree with the minister's comment that it's a kind of a war. Well, in any democracy, India is called as the mother of democracy. India is a country which is the largest democracy in the world today. We are proud of our democracy. We within our country will be adequate enough, strong enough to take care of our democracy. We would not want people from outside to dictate to us or to try to tell us which is right or wrong.
Right, sir. Mr. Memon, thank you very much for joining in. Rishabh, to you as well. So strong reactions that are coming in against Mr. Soros' statement that has now been made yesterday by the Union Minister Smriti Irani and today by the Minister for External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar. We'll be back after a short break.